This is Rob Z Radio.
Allow me right now to reintroduce myself and this podcast to you. Hello, my name is Rob Z, and I host this podcast on my own accord. I've been hosting this thing for 4.5 years. Right now, you're listening to episode 400. That's right, we've hit 400, and what I've decided to do here at episode 400 is restart the engine, to start things over again. Why would I do that when I have 399 episodes in the past? Okay, well, something's happened to me recently that's changed me, that's put me on a new trajectory, that's put me on a new path, and I'm really excited to be able to rebirth what I've been doing here under something brand new that I've created called Creating Superheroes, okay? I don't know if that's trademarked or not in the podcast world. I'm sure it's not. But listen, in my business, in my life, I've found superpowers to be extremely important. And I find that everybody has a superpower. Everybody has something they can tap into that makes them a next level kind of human being. That's what I found out about myself, and just from studying people, right? If I had to name off some people that I love their superpowers, and I study them all the time, it would be people like Tai Lopez, people like Tony Robbins. I'll put Joe Rogan on that list, Tim Ferriss on that list, Gary Vee, Billie Jean, Ed Milet, Andy Frisella, Jimmy Fallon, Oprah. I would put Conan O'Brien on that list. This list could go on for a while. I can't sit here and think of every single name of every single person that I would put on this list of people who've inspired me, and it has dawned on me that these people have superpowers, and they've honed into these superpowers, and it has made them a next level kind of human being. So, for 399 episodes, by the way, over 200 of those episodes are lost episodes. They had to be deleted for legal reasons because of an old company that I worked for. Now, if you're listening to this, I'm not sure at which point in time you are. Those first 200 episodes or so are not available right now, but they will be available in archived form soon. Or they may be available for you right now, depending on when you're listening. But I want to take those 399 past episodes, which I'm very proud of, very happy of those. I'm not saying like that I'm not the kind of person to go back and delete my old history and start from scratch. No, I want my old history to be there. But I want it to be known on episode 400 that what is going to happen right now is going to cross multi-platforms. For me, for you, if you follow me and you follow what I do, you'll see me grow and you're going to see things change, because what I've realized when it comes to podcasting, when it comes to life, when it comes to business, whatever it is, you must have a mission, you must have a crusade, you must have a path, you must have something that you want to spread to the world, you must have a message that you want to give to the world. And if you don't have a mission set up, if you don't have that in your mind, if you don't think about that every day and plan towards that on a regular basis, you don't know where you're heading, and nobody who listens to you knows where you're heading. So my old podcast episodes, they had a purpose for me. They had a purpose for learning. They had a purpose for having fun. They had a purpose for enjoyment. They had a purpose for growing, and they were great locally in central Pennsylvania where I live. But it's time for me to take things to the next level. I want to impact people's lives. I want to impact my own life, and I want to share the things that I've learned and impact other people with them. And I want to take the things that other people have learned and have changed their life with, bring them into my life and into your life as well, okay? So you're not going to listen to episodes on this podcast anymore that you can't figure out what the purpose of it is. You're not going to listen to an episode and hear a conversation and wonder, why am I talking to this person? Why am I having this conversation? How is this going to impact your life? You will know from this day forth, when you listen to this podcast, Rob Z Radio, that my purpose is to create superheroes, to access and harness superpowers in each and every one of us. So I'm going to find people in business and in life who have tapped into their superpowers and use those for good. And I'm going to tap into my own thing, my own superpowers that I have found, and explain to you how I have found them and how that impacts my life. And I'm going to find that in you, so you can awaken that, and you can find that in yourself to create change, momentum, and impact people's lives. So you may be thinking to yourself, what does this mean? Creating superheroes. What are my superpowers? What is a superpower? I'll give you a super simple definition. This is the definition that I use. It's 3 steps, okay? Those 3 steps, Your superpower is something that you're naturally acclimated towards. You're naturally just good at that thing. You have an affinity towards it. It's like when you do that thing, it's not that difficult for you. Now, if you're like me, you might have things that you're good at doing that you don't necessarily like. Let me give you an example. I feel like I'm pretty good at marketing online. I know how to run Facebook ads. I know how to run Instagram ads. I know how to create, I know how to do a lot of things on the internet. I know how to edit video. I know how to do a lot of different things when it comes to technology. But those are not my superpowers because those things exhaust me. Staring at a computer screen all day long exhausts me. It burns me out. It gives me stress. It makes my neck hurt. It makes my back hurt. It makes my shoulders hurt. I'm not meant to be sitting in front of a computer screen all day, and I've learned that over the past 2.5 years running my own social media marketing company. So I did an about face. I shifted directions because that's what you have to do sometimes. I'm not jumping out of that world. I'm just implementing myself in a different part of that world because my superpower lies. Where my energy comes from is from creating content, is from teaching people, is from speaking in front of a camera or in front of groups, sharing humor, fun, relatability, relatable content, connecting and creating conversations with people. Those are things that I do that come along fairly naturally to me. Just seems like something I can just do without a whole lot of effort. And it gives me energy. So right there off the bat, the superpower that you may have, you possess. It's something that you're really good at doing, kind of naturally. It kind of comes along easy to you. Not saying that you don't work at it, not saying you don't practice and improve, but it comes along naturally. But it doesn't drain you. When you do that thing, it actually gives you more energy. So you're naturally good at it. And it also just energizes you to do more of it. That's a beautiful thing. As I'm talking right now, I'm getting more energy because this is my thing. This is my superpower. And I finally, at 36 years old, tapped into it. And now I'm going to use it to help you and to help others and to tell stories and to build something that I can be proud of, that my son, my wife, my family, my friends, and hopefully you and the world can be proud of as well and use to steer yourself in the right direction. You're naturally good at it. It gives you energy. You serve people with it. You give people value with that thing. So here's this one. Number one, you're naturally kind of good at it, just naturally from your own being. It's just something you're going towards because you're good at it. It's simple for you when it's super difficult for somebody else. Number two, it gives you energy when you do it. It does not drain you. It does not suck the energy out of you. It adds more energy to your life. And number three, you can add value to people's lives with that thing. When you do that thing, when you do it effortlessly from your being and you practice it and you harness it, you are adding so much massive value to somebody's life. You are engaging with humans and you are adding value. You are serving them. You are speaking truth into their life. That is the superpower that you possess. We all have at least one, if not more. And that's why this podcast now for me is that mission. The mission is to take this superpower that I know that I have and turn it into something that is a beautiful, beautiful thing for me to share with you and to share with the world and access other people and get them fired up the way I'm fired up. Okay, so every episode from here on out, we are creating superheroes. And what do you do when you create superheroes? You create the Avengers, because what you do is you get a group of people who all have superpowers together. We all have our own unique superpowers. And when you find the right people who have superpowers that all can benefit each other, you come together, you form the Avengers with your superpowers. You are superheroes using your superpowers together to form the Avengers, to form Voltron. And whenever you form that thing together, you are unstoppable in changing the world. That's what you're going to see from me. That's what you're going to see from my team and my friends and the people that I work with who also have tapped into their superpowers. You will see that from us, whether it's on a local level where I live in central Pennsylvania right now as I record this, or as it spreads around the country and around the globe, around the world. You will understand why I'm talking about this 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now, as I'm still talking about this and still tapping into it and still spreading this message, because I can see it right now in my mind. This is something that is going to go way beyond me. It's something that I've been called to the earth to do, and the more that I talk to myself, the more that I tap into who I am, the more that I listen to my heart, and I access the energy of the universe. This might sound crazy, but it's superhero talk. You understand more and more and more. And I'll get into all of that stuff in different episodes. I'll dive into all of that in different episodes. We're not going to get crazy right now, but we will in future episodes. These episodes are going to be shorter. Okay, I'm not going to be doing hour-long episodes. These are going to be 10, 15, 20, 30, 40-minute episodes, maybe with somebody on that I interview, and I'm going to get straight to the point. I'm going to siphon out the information. I'm going to siphon out why their superpowers are so important and how they access them to share them with you and not spend too much time getting there. I just want to get there. So what are my superpowers? How have I tapped into it? Content creation. I love creating content. I've been in broadcasting for 20 years. I've been on radio for 20 years. I've been doing this podcast for almost 5 years. And right now where I stand, I love creating content, whether it's audio or video. I just love it. It's just fun for me. It makes me happy. It gives me energy. If you want to see video content from me, go to my Facebook, Rob Z Radio. Go to my website, robzradio.com. Go to my Instagram, which is Rob Z Radio. You'll see what I'm talking about. I love to teach. So I teach seminars and conferences and speak to people. And right now, really, we're speaking a lot about social media and technology. But that's going to change over time into leadership, into higher level things that a lot of people aren't talking about. I love great leaders. That's why I mention people like Tony Robbins and Ed Mylett and these people who have been doing this for decades and decades. They are the masters, and I will be one of them one day. And right now, for myself, I'm one of them because I'm teaching myself all these things that I'm learning from other people. None of this stuff is brand new information. I'm just accessing what I've learned and sharing it with you in my own way. The beautiful thing about life is, and people, is that you can talk about something that you learned from somebody else. Now, somebody comes along and finds you, right? You may be saying the same thing as a legend like Tony Robbins or somebody like that. I may be saying the same sort of thing, but I'm saying it my own way, and maybe the way I say it, the way I speak, the way I am connects with you better than Tony Robbins connects with you. That doesn't mean I'm better than him or vice versa, or he is better than me at this stuff. But the point is, you might connect with my personality over somebody else's, which is the reason why everybody should share this information and say it in their own way, because somebody's going to tap into you saying it compared to somebody else or vice versa and get more information, get more substance out of what you say. I hope that makes sense to you. My other superpowers are speaking. I love to talk. I'm doing it right now. I love to have fun. I like to laugh. I like to make things funny. That's why I do a radio show, Rob Z Show, the Rob Z Show. You can find it on my website at robzradio.com. I love that because that's another part of my personality. I'm relatable. That's another thing I've learned about myself is I can relate to people well. I'm very malleable. So I can always bend to somebody, which I used to think sometimes those things that you think were your curse, sometimes you think those things that were your downfall are actually your strongest attributes when you harness them and use them correctly, okay? Think of like Cyclops from the X-Men. And I'm going to talk about superheroes because I also love superheroes. I love comic books. I love superhero movies. I love professional wrestling, right? Like, just things where people are bigger than life. And Cyclops, like one of his things was he could shoot like these lasers out of his eyes. And at first it was this horrible thing where he was destroying his own life because he was killing people that he loved with these laser eyes. But then he figured out how to harness it. He found the X-Men. He brought the superpowers together into like the Avengers kind of thing, right? And then he learned how to harness that ability and use it for good and not destroy, but save and create with that superpower. So you got to think about how that works for you. Social media is a superpower of mine. I understand it. I feel like I live, if you've ever read the book Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell, some people are born in an outlier situation. I feel like my generation, I'm an elder millennial. I'm actually the first year of the millennials. I was born in 1983. I lived half or more of my life without the internet, without really strong, powerful internet. So I got the internet in like 1996. I was 12, 13 years old. And it was very slow and wasn't, really the internet that it is now. And we didn't get really great internet until maybe 2004, 2005. So over half my life, I lived without access to the internet, and half my life I've lived with high-speed access to the internet. And I think that gives me a great perspective, and people my age a great perspective. We live in this outlier time that nobody else can really say they lived in. Anybody else born past that only knew of the internet. Anybody born before me lived a lot of their life without the internet and a short portion of it with the internet. So I feel very fortunate to be in this position. That's why I feel like I understand and am passionate about social media at such a high level. And when I say social media, podcasting falls into that category. And also, when it comes to social media, it's all about change. You got to be ready for change. You must be malleable. You must be able to bend like water. Like Bruce Lee would say, you must be like water, because water can go anywhere. It always finds a way. You must be able to find a way. You must be able to change. And I'm great at connecting with people. I'm great at conversations. My wife always says I'm like a couch, and that's not like I'm big and fluffy and soft. I am kind of soft, though. My skin's porcelain-like. But the point is that I'm comfortable, or I can make people comfortable pretty easily. I have a natural affinity towards that, so I feel like I can connect with people easily. I can have great conversations pretty easily. So those are my superpowers that I want to pass on to you. I'd love to know what yours are as you listen to this. As I begin this mission of creating superheroes, what are your superpowers? Comment somewhere. If you can comment while you're watching this podcast on the podcast app you're on, please do that. Or go to my Facebook, Rob Z Radio. Go to my Instagram, Rob Z Radio, and leave me a comment, DM, whatever, and say, hey, Rob, here are my superpowers. And if you don't know how to tap in to your superpowers, I want you to listen to the next episode, because I'm going to give you a 4-part plan, a simple 4-part plan that will teach you how to tap into your superpowers, how to find them, because a lot of people don't know how to find their superpowers. They don't know how to access them. And I want to give that to you. That's one of my missions on this thing, is to give you the ability to tap in to your superpowers and understand what they are all about. And I just want to give a shout out real quick, because as we sign off here, one of my ultimate superpowers, I should add this to the list, and I'm going to actually write this down right now as I'm talking to you so I don't forget, is meditation. I think meditation is an age-old way of tapping into the things inside of you that you may never knew even existed. I love meditation, and I love Michael Singer, okay? So there's this book, The Untethered Soul, The Surrender Experiment. I don't get paid to sponsor him. I think what I should do on here is talk about people, books, courses, whatever, that have left an impact on my life. And Michael Singer, The Untethered Soul, buy that freaking book. And you can go to the Sounds True app, okay? If you go to that Sounds True app, what you're going to find is something this course that Michael Singer put out. It's so impactful. If you read that along with The Untethered Soul, I promise you it will change your life. That's something I want to leave you with. The Untethered Soul. Download the Sounds True app. And Michael Singer's course is it's something about surrender. Just go to good job, Rob. Good prep on that. Just look it up. Michael Singer on the Sounds True app. Buy the book, The Untethered Soul. Find me, robzradio.com. Facebook and Instagram is Rob Z Radio. Make sure you like this podcast. Leave a comment. Subscribe. Leave a review, please. I want this thing to grow. I want it to get to people. I want it to get into their lives. So please subscribe, review, tell your friends about it. If you listen to this and you've got something, you got something out of this, tell one friend. Man, check out Rob Z Radio. He just rebranded the podcast. He's doing something brand new, and you can tell he's super passionate about it. Spread that message, please. I would love, love, love to hear from you. Let me know what's up. And thank you for listening. Shout out to my man Jake Over, making the music happen on this thing. Jake Over makes the music happen on this podcast. All produced by him. Look him up, Jake Over. Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. Look him up on Facebook. Becoming superheroes. Creating superheroes. Finding your superpowers. This is all new, and I can't wait to share more with you. Tune into the next episode so you can find out what yours are for yourself. Peace out.
This is Rob Z Radio.